Hey, what's going on? My name is Alex with Portland Event Films, and today I'm gonna cover our live streaming setup that we did a custom build for. I'm gonna break this video up in a couple different parts. One of the videos is gonna cover the audio portion, the mixers, the microphones, what this is capable of, and the different applications that this is one is gonna be good for. Then I'm going to break down our custom build that we did with the ATEM Extreme. Some of the nuances, the different things that we've added to the side of the box to make these two cohesive, work together, and how this has helped our setup process. Hey, what's going on? My name is Alex with Portland Event Films. We're located in Portland, Oregon, and this is our setup that we use for most of our live streaming applications. The only thing this really doesn't cover that we have set up here is for intense graphics. We can do a couple graphics through here, but if we have a run of show where we're doing multiple graphics, multiple video slideshows, we add another component to this. We do that all through vMix. But this setup is going to cover about 90% of the live streaming applications that we need. This is a more of an intense audio setup. I'm going to go down through this whole breakdown of what we use here, and then I'm going to go through a different breakdown of this setup completely. So essentially what we have here is we have two Shure QLDX wireless microphones, so we can hook that up to a wireless handheld. We can do a body pack, we can do a wireless podium mic. Then below that we also have a power conditioner that holds all the power supplies, everything that's needed in here. The benefit of having this case, it's a SK Bay Road case, is the computer can stay in here. There's a top that goes right on the top, secures it. Everything stays in here. All the cords are in place here. So when we get to shows, we don't have to like rehook everything up. Everything is contained. And we can have both of these set up in like 5 minutes. So it makes the process really, really nice. So the secret sauce on this one below is we have the Behringer Xair. This is the RX12. And essentially what it has is it has 12 mic inputs that we can use for different applications. So depending on if we have like a podium mic, if we're doing a band that we have to mic up, a choir singing, this will give us a lot more options as far as mixing and sound than what comes on the ATEM Extreme. The different options. I know in the software there's a lot of things that you can do, but when it comes to having multiple mic inputs, you're going to have to step up to a mixer like this. Most of the mics that we use, like a podium microphone, is going to require phantom power, and this does not have the ability to do phantom power. So basically what we do is we take all our audio inputs through the mixer in here, and then we route it into an XLR that we've mounted into our box, and then that's how we get the audio from this setup into the Extreme and then pumped out to the live stream. So what we have is this mixer runs off of an app, and we're able to control all the audio on all these different sliders from this mixer. If you notice, there's no knobs down there. You can't control anything except for, you know, your headphone output. That is the only knob that you'll find on this. Good or bad, depending on how you look at it. But it's really cool is when we're at an event, we can actually not have to stay behind our station, but we can walk out in the room, we can have a lapel mic on us, and then that way we can change the volumes of everything. And then this allows us to set the volumes. We can EQ all those bad sounds from different microphones. If you have a podium microphone, you can only turn it up so loud with the EQ, you know, set at a, you know, just a resting level. And this allows us to bring a lot of the lows, a lot of the bad frequencies, and really make it sound clean for the particular room that we're in for that application. So this is really, really nice. We can also set gates on it, effects, EQ. Pretty much everything you can do in a production studio, you can do in this app. And once I switched over to this solution, it's made my audio life 100 times easier, especially when we're doing bigger events. Now, when we're doing bigger events, we'll usually run a snake. So I'll show you what that looks like. So this right here is an audio snake. This particular one has, I think, 6 XLR and then 2 1/4-inch outputs. And what this does is this gets plugged into the front of our mixer. And this one is, I think it's about 50 feet. Then what we'll do is we'll take this box and we'll set this at front of house or up on the stage. And then we can plug all the microphones in. So this is individual people speaking. If we have a small band, we can run this. We have a couple different options of this. So if we need more channels, then we can swap out for a bigger box. But for the most part, this is going to cover most of the applications that we need, because we usually need about 4 or 5 different microphones depending on who we're miking up. Plus, we still have the option to do 2 different wireless microphones. Having the QLDX, I have no worries about signal dropping out. These are really high quality microphones with a transmitter and receiver. But for longer shows where we have a longer runtime, then I'm going to go to something like this, especially if we have a bunch of different microphones. So it just makes the process a lot smoother when it's setting up and tearing down. I'm always looking at ways to be able to cut down on my setup and my teardown time. You know, build kits that all work together nice seamlessly. They have their, individual packages, all the cords get stored in them. But this is a good solution if you're having to run multiple microphones. So what we have our power conditioner in here that's getting plugged down below. Then we also have a power cord that we custom built. This one has a power conditioner that's built into it. That's run down to a 3-way. Then what we're going to be bringing in is our Ethernet cord here that's connected below. That's going to go into our ATEM. So once we have everything set up, we can literally hit go live stream from the ATEM directly to YouTube. We used to go into like OBS and stuff like that and bring the audio in through here, but it's just a much easier process of mixing all the audio over here and sending it over to the ATEM and going directly to YouTube, because that's usually where we live stream to. Then we also have an adapter box down below, so that way we can get Ethernet to connect to the computer. And this computer here is usually just for viewing the YouTube and then also controlling the ATEM. So if we need to do any settings, change out line levels, add some couple graphics here and there, that's what we use this computer for. So we're not actually streaming off this computer. All the processing of the streaming is being done inside the Extreme. Here we also have a backup recording, so that way we can record a backup. And then what this does is being able to stream here. Now we have our 2 video outputs. One of the video outputs is obviously going to our monitor so we can view everything. But then we have a secondary output that we can go to a big screen or a different monitor depending on our application. We have another setup, another small box, so if we're doing like multiple TVs and we need some video splitting where we can go to multiple screens, we'll use that output, but that's not on many locations, so we'll usually have this. All right, so for places that we show up to and they do not have a stable internet connection and we need to live stream, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna go from the HDMI out into this cord here, and then we'll go directly to the Live View Solo, and then we'll go to the YouTube. We usually set it up so that way as soon as we press this go button, then once we push that, then it automatically starts the live stream, and everything that's gonna be taken in from here is gonna go up to YouTube or the choice that we have for our RMTP. But most of the times we're just gonna go to YouTube. The important thing with this is when you're setting it up, make sure you enable auto start, so that way if you don't have a computer, you can just push play and then your live stream starts right away. So it's really cool with this setup. This computer is not actually needed. So places that are remote, sometimes we do with limited power, we have to run off of a generator. This can be pretty much all self-contained and not needing the internet to live stream, go directly from the Live View Solo. And then this computer is just to control the ATEM, and then to control the mixer, we're going to be using the iPad. So this is the basic setup that is going to cover about 90% of our events. And then you're kind of limited on the graphics. You can put a bunch of graphics on your computer, but you gotta swap it out. But if you're doing a bunch of different lower thirds, that's when we go to something like vMix. not needed. This is going to cover, like I said, about 90% of the events. So the next video, I'm going to break down this whole box build for the audio setup, and then I'm going to go break down the different connectors and how we built this setup, because this has the ability to do, I have it set up for 2 SDI connections. We have 2 different HDMIs, and then we also have a wireless transmitter that we put up here to be able to connect to our cameras wirely coming up. So I'm gonna have those videos coming up here in a couple weeks, and I'll break down each of the different scenarios and what it took to build each of these boxes. If you guys have any more questions, let me know in the comments below. Thank you guys.